how I was able to quit my job to pursue photography full-time with just one client. And no, they didn't pay me 10 grand. In fact, I made less than $1,000 from this client. How was I able to pull this off, and was it a good idea? There's really only two good ways to go from a 9-to-5 job to a full-time creative. One, you can acquire a bunch of clients, have some long-term retainers in place, and know 100% that you'll have a reoccurring revenue each month. And if you quit, you know you'll be financially okay. Then there's number two. You don't have any long-term retainers and you've managed to acquire just 1 or 2 clients. If you quit your job, you won't have financial security and the risk will be huge. Or will it? This video will talk about how I was able to quit my job with just 1 client. And no, I don't have rich parents and I didn't have that much saved up. I was able to do this by using a systematic approach to get clients. I knew that if I could get 1 client, I could get 100. Let's take this back to January 2020. I was working a job I wasn't happy in, and at the same time, I was trying to get my photography business off the ground. I had dreams to work for myself. I was tired of the 9-to-5 grind. The work, it wasn't bad, but my heart just wasn't in it. 40 hours a week devoted to something I didn't like just felt like I was wasting away my 20s. Outside of the 9-to-5 hours, I was putting in the work. I was grinding to get my business off the ground, but I wasn't getting much traction in terms of getting clients. I was learning all about sales, all about marketing, and all about building systems around this. I was learning from YouTube and online courses from the people that have already done this stuff. I was just going to copy their formula and try and implement it into my business. I knew one thing. I didn't want to rely on referrals. I wanted to do it myself. I knew I could ask some friends for referrals and get my foot in the door, but with referrals, they just wouldn't be sustainable. I could get a few as favors from friends, but that wouldn't be a system that would guarantee me referrals over and over again. Instead, I opted to go down the sales method. I was going to do cold outreach, book discovery calls, send proposals, and close deals. This made sense in my head. It sounded like a numbers game where if I put in enough effort, I would be able to get results. If I cold emailed 50 leads, 6 might respond, 4 might hop on the phone with me, 3 might want proposals, and 1 might sign on to work with me. There are thousands of companies out there, so I knew that if I could prove that my system worked, I could repeat this process over and over again. In July of 2020, that's exactly what happened. My system worked. I signed my first client using this method. I put in my 2 weeks notice and I was off to the races. Now, this didn't come without risk. Just because I signed 1 client didn't guarantee me I'd be able to sign more and more. Let me break down the decision process that led me to going full-time in photography. First, like I mentioned, my system worked. There are thousands of companies out there that could use my services, and if I could just sell a fraction of these companies, I'd be able to earn a living doing something I love. Second, I was on the verge of burnout. I was putting in a lot of work outside of my 9-to-5, and it was brutal. I knew that if I could have those extra 40 hours a week devoted to my own business, I would thrive. The hours I spent at that 9-to-5 were really draining. Not because I didn't like the work, but because I knew that every minute I didn't spend working on my own business meant that I was falling behind. I had a dream, and I wanted to work towards that dream. I was teetering between getting drained by my job and feeling fulfilled by my passion, and I felt the scale tipping in the wrong direction. I had to correct that course before it was too late. Now, the third reason I made the jump was because I had some money saved up. As I was working towards this dream, I was saving money in the background. I saved up about 6 months of living expenses. I would quit, and I knew that I would still be okay even if I didn't sign any clients for 6 months. I gave myself the 6-month window to actually make my dream work. If I was wrong about my systems working, then I would eventually go back to my 9-to-5 and call it quits. I'm still here, so you can guess how everything turned out. That's how I made that choice. I had a system in place that worked. I knew that if I could devote time to that system, I could maximize the chances of it working, and I had money saved up as a buffer. These 3 factors turned what may have been a reckless decision to a calculated risk that I knew would pay off. Quitting with just 1 client would be reckless unless you had all these things in place. Being reckless is dumb, but taking risks will pay off in the long run. Now, the other way to do this is to have a few clients in place, have a couple of retainers, and know that you have predictable income. Once you have this, you can quit. For me, this didn't feel like an option, but it could be a good option for you. I knew that I was on the edge of burnout at my old job, and that the longer I postponed this decision, the less likely my chances of success would be. But you may be different. You may love your 9-to-5 and not feel burned out at all. It's a very fortunate position to find yourself in, and if you can hold out for a while, you'll be able to quit in a really safe way. At the same time, there is something to be said about just diving right in and having a fire lit under your ass so that you don't have a plan B. I do think that it helped me that I had to get clients to sustain myself. It helped me to wake up every morning motivated to work. It caused good stress that kept me focused, and it allowed me to be all in on this passion. Do you think that I made a reckless choice or a calculated risk? I had the systems in place, the timing was there, and I had 6 months of living expenses saved up. Looking back, I don't regret my choice one bit. If you're struggling with this right now, drop a comment below. I'd love to chat more. There's a video right here that I think you'll find really valuable, and I will see you in the next one.